I want to introduce to you the lady who is behind it all. She won't. I won't sing to her this today. I'll sing to her another time because it is her birthday. But the founder and CEO of We Empower You. Let's put our hands together for the one, the only Miss Bettina Carey. Welcome, Bettina.
Oh, CL, welcome yourself. I'm so glad to have you here co-hosting with me. That just made my year, I have to say.
What a great opportunity. Yes, and happy birthday, Bettina. We love you.
Thank you so much. This is the best birthday ever, and the best gift to myself is to be surrounded by loved ones and people that care about changing the globe. So that's what I'm all about.
Right, you are. You definitely are. And what I would like to do, so we can, because we're always we got time zones all over the place and making things happen. So I want to just spend a few moments with you, Bettina. Kind of let's just unearth for a few moments what it is that is packaged in that, was that 4'9" young lady up there, 4'9.5" young lady. The vision behind We Empower You, because your story is truly amazing. It's kind of what gravitated me towards you. So, Bettina, can you give us kind of like a snapshot for those who may not know in full detail how this We Empower You movement started?
Well, I must have come to the planet gifted in connectedness, right? So I've been connecting people from around the globe for years, from probably most of my life. And I grew up as a military brat, and I talked to people and strangers all the time because we change schools like every few years or every year even sometimes.
Right.
And that said, I had a really challenged circumstance when I was in high school, and I fell in love with my high school boyfriend, and we soon dated and, got into a relationship, and one thing led to another, and he soon started to hit me. And I didn't really know what to do so much at the time. And I stayed in the relationship. I subsequently married this man. And on the way to Washington State, where we were going to be residing, he assaulted me, and it led to the premature birth and passing of my firstborn child. I stayed another year, and it took me that long to gain the courage to leave. So I was in a very disempowered state of mind for the first, I'd say, 3 years into this relationship. And when I walked away, I walked away alive, thankfully. And I vowed to never be disempowered again. So this journey really started there, right? I'm all about empowering others. And along the way, I've empowered myself. I turned from a victim to an empowerer. And then I got it in my hot little head when I became an entrepreneur in 1992 that I could change the globe one business at a time. And I knew it. And then I found my way to Lee Romanoff, who founded Income Activator, the platform that we use for our membership. And the two of us got our heads together, and we cracked the code on how we can do this, how we can change the globe one business at a time. So together, along with a very illustrious team of people behind the scenes, we are making it happen. So that was the long and the short of it. I hope it wasn't a too long of an answer there.
No, that was a great answer. It's always good to hear kind of like the genesis. Oftentimes people see us, Bettina, where our present state is, but I love to always peel back the onion and find out, man, what really sparked this. And so let's look over the past 24 months, Bettina. We've been through a lot, haven't we?
We sure have.
So tell me how you.
I was going to say, 2020, I was about to go into semi-retired mode.
Right.
And then I got the notification that everybody got that said you might have 3 to 5 days to live. And I thought to myself, hell no, I'm not going to live the rest of my life thinking I'm going to die in 3 to 5 days.
Right.
I'm going to start my inspirement years. So I'm inspiring and mentoring, and I'm committing the rest of my life and the last breath that I breathe to this cause.
Well, that's powerful, and I know if the genes that your mother has have passed on to you, there's going to be about another 40 or 50 years more of breaths, because you guys got some longevity. So when we talk about what we got, the pandemic swept throughout the country, and many of us were placed on our heels. A lot of businesses had to close. Folks just had to give up on their dreams. The doors were shut, and then there were people like you that made this conscious decision to pivot. So tell us how you navigated and even thrived during these past 24 months.
Well, luckily for me, I was already planning a live event that was going to have a virtual component. So all we had to do was drop the live version. And I had Art Johnson, who gets all the claim and credit for goading me into thinking about virtual about 12 years ago. He started that journey with me, and I finally was about to do it. So we were kind of poised and ready to actually live into this virtual world that we are all living in. And then in addition to that, like I said, meeting and working collaboratively with Lee Romanoff, I owe so much to her. She's an incredible friend, incredible business owner, and she's doing such a bang up job at living living into my dream, right? And making it happen. So that was what helped us to position ourselves and, pivot, as they say, quotation marks around that.
Right.
Very overused word these days, but
Yeah.
I was thankful that I changed my mind about retiring and instead started doing these quarterly instead of yearly, like I had originally planned.
Yeah, so this is summit number 9, and it just continues to grow. How has it been, and how have you been able to through this it started out maybe locally per se, but now it is a global and an international movement here at We Empower You. How did that work, and how did you manage to orchestrate that to see this growth across the seas?
Well, back in the day, I used to be a one-woman show. In fact, I owned the URL onewomanshow.com for years. And I used to brag about that. But I figured out along the way that is the worst game plan that anybody could ever have. Mm-hmm. You need a team of people to do things well and to do things right. And there's so many people behind the scenes that have helped this journey. Again, I mentioned, Lee Romanoff, Shay Vaughn, Aggie Clark, Janet Francis, and Tammy Stamps were in the original group. Blake Messer, Larry, my son, David, who's doing all the graphics. So many people that came to the table to help us put this thing together and to keep it going. And each time we climb a little bit higher because we are set out to do a summit. And during the summit, we climb the summit. So we create new processes, we create new systems, put things into place that we know have longevity. And I can literally go to Tahiti figuratively or literally, and the team would be able to carry on without me. And that is living into my legacy. So I've kicked to the curb the idea of being the one-woman show. And that is the essential ingredient to success, in my view. We lost your mic there.
What happened? Somebody muted me. I don't know who would dare mute CL King. We have seen in the notations among the advertisement that proverb that you have, and that really has stood out, and it kind of backs up what you just said about being the whole one woman team. You know that proverb I'm talking about?
I do. When you want to go fast, go alone. When you want to go far, go together. And it is in the spirit of that togetherness that we are going to go really, really far with the We Empower You community and empowerment movement and the summit.
Yeah. And, when we talk about the revenue ceiling, that glass revenue ceiling that we talk about, yeah. When you've been able, you said you just didn't break through, you shattered it. So what was that that breakthrough like for you? Did you set a goal to say, hey, listen, I'm going to do this and I want to be here? Or what was that revenue ceiling like? And then when you broke through, you said, okay, I can go even higher.
Well, I have to say that I was sitting underneath the six figures for almost my entire life.
Mm-hmm.
And I had worked to the bone, right? Blood, sweat, tears. I've cried. I've gone up, I've fallen down, I've gone up again and fallen down so many times that that's the one thing that people can count on, is that I will rise up again, right? And but the glass ceiling that was the six figure in particular was elusive to me, and I figured it might not ever happen to have a consistent income of over six figures. However, that said, within the first 8 weeks of launching the We Empower You community with our founding members, we generated $25,000. And within 6 months and 1 week, we hit six figures collectively. And we're hitting more, double six figures now at this point with the 2 years that we have in. And I imagine that this could become a multi-million-dollar operation. That is my goal. That is my mission, because I want to do this for all of our members. I want them to have this experience. And we have a path that we've laid out, and I'm following it. And Lee is laying down the crumbs and I'm picking them up.
Yes. Want to get some of them crumbs.
Yeah. You talk about shattering the glass ceiling. Well, you and I had an interview about a year ago, and you said, shattering the glass ceiling right down to the floor. Right. And that's when I really got motivated. I'm like, how many other ceilings can I shatter? How can I shatter relationship ceilings? How can I shatter love situations? How can I shatter all the barriers, which I believe at this point in my life, by the way, are self-imposed limitations, right? Because I don't have anybody who's stopping or blocking me except myself, and I can be my own worst jailer. So I spend an inordinate amount of time thinking through how I can, see my way clear to shattering, especially the revenue glass ceiling, because so much is dependent on money. And as some people have said, you can do a lot with goodness and kindness and generosity. However, what actually causes change in large part is money. Right. So I intend on changing the globe. I got to make a lot of money.
You're right. And this is a joke, but I do tell folks when they look to hire me as a speaker, I say, listen, I speak to young people, adults, etc. But a fried chicken dinner just can't get me there anymore. You know what I mean? I'm just not going to be able to make it halfway across the country on a fried chicken dinner. It's going to take some revenue, right, Bettina?
That's for sure.
So when we look at it, we just got a few minutes left. I'm blessed, ladies and gentlemen, CL King, to be here at the We Empower You Summit to interview the birthday girl, Miss Bettina Carey. When we look at the state of our country now, right? And we've got all these factions warring against one another, metaphorically and even physically. People may have some skepticism when they hear something about this type of opportunity. They're like, well, I don't know, maybe there's risk involved or whatever. I don't know if I can do it. I don't know if I have the capacity. So I want to ask you, Bettina, what would you say to someone who will be tuning in today, no doubt all throughout the country and around the world, who will be listening to some of your presentations and some of the presenters, some of your team members, who will say, man, yeah, I hear you, Bettina, that you shattered the glass ceiling, but look at it, it's $6 a gallon gas now, and you can't buy a loaf of bread for less than $5. What would you say to someone who is like hesitant or on the fence for taking maybe control of their own personal finances because of the clouds of the economy that we're looking at?
3 words: just say yes. That is where I'm from. If your heart says yes, then we say yes to you. We invest our time and our interest in you. And we've made it so incredibly simple with our Just Say Yes program. So just say yes. If this is of interest to you, like I like to say, many talented coaches are in the profession of coaching, and we match you up with incredible people who are needing your help right now. right here, right now, when we have been all faced with the pandemic and many other things, including the rising cost of gas and other products that we purchase. At the end of the day, this path is so clear. Lee knew it for years before we met, and I know it now. And she had it right. And together, we are going to change the world. So the path is very clear. We've laid it out. Get out of your own way. Start promoting others. That's what we do. And when we promote others, we make what's called multiple streams of income, which is the secret to success and wealth.
Yeah, that's powerful. I love that. I love everything you said, especially because what triggers me is that, man, I can't. I'm just going to get spiritual for 1 second. The Bible says, don't regard the wind when you sow or plant something, or the seasons or the clouds. And oftentimes people hesitate and they resist because they just can't bring it to within themselves to say yes. But you have what the word that you used outside of saying those 3 words, you have a path, and We Empower You has created a path for success, and it's proven. It's not just something that we're all hypothetically up here doing. Lee has helped you so greatly. I love that you wave every time we say your name, and that's just amazing. And so bringing us all together, this vision just continues to grow, Bettina. And so here we are I'm right on time to conclude this interview with you. But I will say this one last thing, Bettina. If there was another 3 words, boy, I just put you on the spot. If there was another 3 words that you could tell someone who said, okay, just say yes, then what after that? What's after the just say yes? What would you say to them?
We empower you. And the word way, WEY, we empower you. And together we will go far.
That's powerful. Thank you so much. Hey, put your hands together for Miss Bettina Carey. What a fantastic lady, and I love interviewing her on our show. So thank you so much, Bettina.
Thank you, CL. It's been great to be in your presence too. What a great interview. And now it's my turn to interview you, CL. We met just about a year plus ago, and it's been rocking ever since. I consider you a dear friend and someone who is changing the lives all around the globe. You were doing this beforehand. Your company, Impact Life 24/7. You were on it literally 24/7, empowering lives, in youth in particular. And I have to say, you come from an incredible story of sexual abuse and physical abuse, neglect and homelessness. And my heart goes out to you. You took that past and you made it something of a future for yourself, your family, and others. And for whatever reason, God gave you that path, and you're on it. You are, of course, a success because of one woman in your life who was Ruth E. Plowden, rest her soul. And she did an awful lot to help you to take your life into your own hands, gifting you with words of wisdom, which you will be able to share with us here in your interview. And I must say that you are also, I want to say thank you for your service. You had an honorable tour in the United States Marine Corps. You have a wife. You have 7 children that are with you. In fact, one of your sons just joined the military, and you are impacting students and adults, and you with your dynamic delivery all over the globe. And I can't wait to continue to support you in that. So yes, my question to you is, tell us a little bit more about the impact that you got from Ruth, and how that sets you on the course that you're living into today.
It's interesting that you say that, Bettina, because Ruth E. Plowden, who's going to be highlighted in my book coming out in July, she is my foster mom. And she had 83 kids, 83 foster kids over 30 plus years. And I was one of them. I tell everybody, ladies and gentlemen, that I was her favorite because I just felt that way. But, we all came to the same house. It was in suburban Lorain, Ohio. We all had the same 2 people, Paul and Ruth Plowden. We all had the same opportunities. And the one thing about Mom Plowden is she said, listen, you can take all the hell that you guys have went through, and use it as an excuse, or you can use it to change the world. And it was like, that was a provocation for me, because when you go through so much homelessness, I was homeless at age 11 for 6 months on the streets of Cleveland. Sometimes when I tell people that, they just kind of like look like, oh, well, that's interesting, you were homeless. No, imagine being without a house, without any adult supervision, and you're walking around going to soup kitchens and stuff. That was kind of my lot in life. So when I landed with Ruth Plowden, she said, you can take all of that and you can use it. It'd be a great excuse, a great tapestry, if you will, for you to fail as a backdrop, or you can use it to change the world. And so that's what we've done ever since. After I left Mom Plowden's house, man, it's just been a continual escalation of impact in my life and the lives of others. I think you're on mute, Bettina. Somebody muted you. Yeah, she's on mute. We got to get her
Oh, there
off.
we go.
There you go.
Sorry about that. I was getting my team member has arrived, and I just was letting them know that I'm here.
Yes, ma'am.
Anyway, I also know that Ruth left a mark in your heart, and that you do have a book coming out. Share with us a little bit about your title, which does. You have to explain it to us, right?
Yeah. The title of the book is Who Ate My Brownie? And the subtitle is No Matter the Adversity, You Still Can Make It. Yeah. There were 7 homes that I lived in up until I got to my last home, Mom Plowden, when I was 13 or 14. Well, when I spent some time living with my mom, because I was taken away from her when I was young, I went back with her when I was 10 years old. And those environments that we lived in were absolute squalor, and we always ate in soup kitchens. Electricity was always off and on, abuse from boyfriends, etc. And my sister and I, my older sister, we were always so hungry, because just food was not a thing unless you went to the soup kitchen. One night, her husband, not my dad, but her husband, went to a soup kitchen, ate, and brought home a brownie. And I had determined, man, I was starving. I was documented severely malnutrition even when I went in the United States Marine Corps. I went to the Marine Corps at 6'3", 167 pounds. I was a stick. And that brownie got put in the refrigerator. And I remember sneaking back into the kitchen and taking a little corner off that brownie time and time again, reforming the brownie to make it look smaller and still keep its vitality, until eventually the brownie was gone, Bettina. And the next morning, my mom said, who ate my brownie? And she says, until you guys tell me, you guys are going to get beat every day until someone tells me who ate this brownie. Now, my sister, who's older than me, she's going to corroborate everything that's in the book, but she would not tell. And I told her that I ate it, but she wasn't going to tell on me. But I also had determined that I was not going to get beat again with what we were getting whooped with. And so that next day, as the morning rose, I walked out the front door, and that started my journey of being on the streets of Cleveland homeless. I left the front door wide open, kissed my sister, and I never went back. And that decision to eat that brownie and that decision to leave is what catapulted me into the vein and the venues of transformation that I needed to be in. It was one decision. I ate the brownie because I was starving, and I left because I wasn't going to get abused anymore. And so when you ask yourself, what was that one decision? Sometimes we always looking for a million things. What was that one decision that you made in life that you could go back to and say, that was the point that started it all? For some people, it's going to be to just say yes to that you can go back and look on your calendar and say, I said yes on June the 8th, 2022. That one decision. See how it's all about the decision. And so that's the title of the book. July 24th, it's coming out on clkingspeaker.com.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait to see your book. And, we have yet one more thing in common, because when I was in the domestic violence situation, I woke up one day, I left the house with the clothes on my back and a purse. I went to church, and I never went back to the relationship. I literally found the courage, and I had no idea that I was leaving, or I would have taken some things, right? So I know the feeling and the courage that it would have taken to walk out a door when you knew it had a roof on it and you didn't know where else you were going to go. And so I can totally appreciate your story. And I'm so glad that you left, because no telling what could have happened to you if you hadn't.
That's right.
So there's the journey. You then went into the military. And of course, anybody who's listening to your powerful voice has to know that that military training, sergeant, or whatever your status was. What was your
No, I got out as a sergeant.
Sergeant? Yeah, my dad was a sergeant too. Go here, do this, do that. Annie, Annie, are you okay? I mean, you've got that voice, that power, and it really is an incredible opportunity for folks right here who are watching. And you're going to hear more of CL here as we continue this morning. We have about 5 more minutes for CL. Tell us something that we may not even know yet about you, and that is also instrumental to the path that you're on.
Well, it's something you won't know, okay? My stage name is CL King. My, I guess, legal name is Christopher L. King. But really, I'm not a king at all. My name is really not Christopher L. King. Uh-oh. My name is actually Donnie Lee Sharp. However, because my dad's last name was Sharp, my mother changed my name because my dad had beat her when she was like in her 9th month of pregnancy, and she refused to give me his last name. So the legacy of my dad, I know very little of him. I don't have his last name, and the Sharp genealogy is going to end with me and my older cousin. But one thing that I will say about that is sometimes we put a whole lot of stock in what we could have been, right? I could have been Donnie Lee Sharp, but instead I'm Christopher L. King. Now, there's a lot of things about the Kings that really, I don't even like to talk about them. They got their own, the whole King family has their own issues, but I can't live my life based off of what I could have been as Donnie Lee Sharp. I can't even base my life off of the trauma that I experienced as Christopher Lee King, because I recognize, just like you're doing with We Empower You, Bettina, you are leaving a legacy. So my name is not just about me. My name is about my children and their children and their children's children. And so I have to do everything I can to say, whoever Donnie Lee Sharp was or could have been, I can't fix that. Whatever the trauma that Christopher Lee King was raised up in, we can't go there. All I can do is tell you what I took with this name, what I did with this name that nobody knew it was different. What I've done with this name is said, the Bible says a good name is to be rather chosen than rubies and great riches. I'm going to take this name and make it something good so that when my children carry on my name, it will continue to be goodness from generation to generation.
Yes. Oh my gosh. That's such a great story too, of the name change, which we also share, by the way, for the same reasons. In terms of domestic violence, I changed my name to Bettina instead of Betty, which is my given name. So we have lots to talk about, and we're going to run out of time here because we've got a full day ahead. CL, impacting life 24/7 is your path. What can we do to support you? How can folks reach you to be a part of your leadership, to be a part of whatever it is you're doing, to be interviewed by you, get on your stage? You have a stage as well.
Yes, ma'am. We have a podcast, International Podcast. And if you'd like to connect with us, just go to clkingspeaker.com. If you're hosting an event and you want your people shooken from center to circumference, call us and we'll be glad to do it. That's what my passion is, to make an impact on people's lives. But it is truly about collaboration, man. It's so good to see my friend. I think she was on the screen there, Tequila. Look at that beautiful young lady up there, Tequila. It's all about collaboration and friendship. And so that's what we want to do. We'll collaborate with you. clkingspeaker.com. Thanks.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, CL. You're going to stay with us.
That's right.
Introducing some of our upcoming speakers. Thank you so much for being willing to be a co-host with me. We love it when you're a part of this show.